On display for us now, Stephen Carroll is here for business, and he's starting with Google. Self-driving car project. This rumbles on, doesn't it?
Yes, Alphabet, Google's parent company, has signed a deal with Fiat Chrysler to expand its autonomous driving project. The self-driving technology will be installed on 100 Chrysler minivans. That'll more than double the size of the technology company's fleet. It's the first time Google has chosen a car maker to work with it on its self-driving project. It's also a boost for Fiat Chrysler, which had been lagging behind its competitors in developing this kind of technology. Now, the new minivans will join Google's tests on roads in 4 American cities. The company's hoping to have them on the road for real, though, by 2020.
France story for you now. A minister has lashed out against the boss of Renault. Now, this is over his pay packet, isn't it?
Economy Minister Emmanuel Macron has called on the board of the French car maker to reconsider how much they're paying Chief Executive Carlos Ghosn. He earned more than €7.2 million last year and is being paid that despite shareholders voting against it. Delano de Souza has the story.
Tensions are running high between Emmanuel Macron and Carlos Ghosn. At last Friday's annual general meeting, 54% of the company's shareholders refused to back maintaining the chief executive's salary, a vote which was not taken into account by Renault's board. The economy minister is now calling on them to reconsider the chief executive's paycheck, even threatening to legislate on the matter.
Let me be very clear about this. After seeing the vote at Renault's General Assembly, there is evidently a problem in terms of governance. What we are asking is that Mr. Ghosn takes responsibility so that his 2016 salary reflects the consequences of this vote, and that the Renault Board of Directors meet once again to draw the necessary conclusions from this vote.
Carlos Ghosn took home €7.2 million in 2015, more than $1.7 million in stock options alone. Renault argues that under his watch, the company enjoyed record revenues that jumped 10% last year. The French state owns just under 20% in the company, and while it wants the board to reconsider its decision, analysts caution that it's easier said than done.
In terms of actual legislation, the state cannot do anything. The company's board is sovereign under the authority of the president, who is Mr. Carlos Ghosn.
In a statement concerning Carlos Ghosn's salary, Renault's management confirmed all rules laid out by the French business lobby, the MEDEF, have been respected.
Let's check in at what's happening on the markets for you next. And we'll start with the currency markets, in fact, where we'd seen the dollar slide to its lowest level in some 15 months yesterday. Things weakening a little bit against the euro today. €1 worth $1 and just under 15 cents in trading. But we'll see where it happens to the dollar as the day progresses as well. On the stock markets in Asia, Japanese markets still closed. Not such a positive picture on the rest of the Asian markets. You can see falls there across Hong Kong, Shanghai and on the Kospi in South Korea.
Brazil now. Prosecutors there beginning legal action against a group of mining companies. This is over a mudslide last year.
The federal civil suit is seeking more than $43 billion in damages from the iron miner, Samarco, and its owners BHP Billiton and Vale. The case centres on the collapse of a dam in the southeast of the country last November, which caused a massive mudslide, killed 19 people, and also huge environmental damage caused as well. Brazil's Vale and the Anglo-Australian firm BHP already agreed a settlement of more than $6 billion with the Brazilian government. That was for the social and environmental damage caused. This lawsuit is as a result of a 6-month investigation into the disaster. Shares in BHP Billiton slumped by more than 7% in Australia on that news. Well, some more of today's business headlines for you next. Air France KLM has reported losses of €155 million for the first 3 months of this year. That's an improvement on the same period last year, but the airline says its earnings were hit by overcapacity on long-haul flights and a reduction in tourism after the terrorist attacks in Paris and Brussels. The airline group named its new chief executive, Jean-Marc Janaillac, on Sunday, and he'll take over by the end of July. The French bank Société Générale saw a surprise increase in its first quarter profit. Its earnings were helped by an 18% jump in profits at its consumer banking arm. The lender also announced it was to cut another €220 million in costs at its investment bank by the end of next year. And Europe's biggest oil company has reported better than expected profits despite the slump in oil prices. Royal Dutch Shell earned $1.6 billion in adjusted net profits for the first quarter. The company's cut nearly 10,000 jobs and sliced $1.7 billion from capital investment as part of its plan to cope with the dramatic fall in oil prices.
Now, I've had a look in my wallet and I've only got a €5 note, but actually the European Central Bank is to decide on the fate of the €500 note a little bit later on, Stephen.
It's slightly worrying that both of us looked and we both only had €5, which is perhaps a representative
10 between us.
of something else. But this move, expected to be announced by the European Central Bank later, comes after lobbying from police across the Eurozone who've been arguing for some time that a €500 note facilitates crime. The ECB's Governing Council is expected to announce that it will stop printing the €500 notes. According to reports, the notes will remain legal tender but will be phased out as the new designs of other notes are introduced for other denominations. Central banks in the Eurozone will continue to exchange the 500 afterwards, though, for other amounts. The idea has caused some controversy in Germany, though, where it's felt that scrapping the note is some sort of move towards getting rid of paper notes altogether. Very unpopular move in Germany.
I feel better now. 500 notes are for criminals, €5 notes are for TV
us.
presenters. Yeah, exactly. Makes me feel better. Thanks, Stephen. Stephen, we're business on France 24.